You defend yourself because you think it clears your name. It does not. It confirms you are under interrogation. Every time you explain your actions to someone who did not ask with respect, you are not protecting your reputation. You are handing them the gavel. You are stepping into their courtroom. You are accepting their right to judge you. And the moment you do that, you have already lost. Let me show you where this happens. Your manager questions your decision in front of the team. You immediately launch into a detailed explanation of your reasoning, your process, your logic. You think you are showing competence. You are not. You are showing that you believe you owe them proof. You are reinforcing their authority to evaluate you. The frame was never about whether your decision was correct. The frame was about whether they have the right to question you publicly, and you just said yes. Your partner accuses you of not caring enough. You list everything you have done for them in the past month. You remind them of sacrifices, gestures, and effort. You think you are defending your character. You are not. You are submitting evidence to a trial you should never have attended. The accusation was bait. The real game was whether you would react. You reacted. You lost. Your friend makes a comment about your choices in a group setting. You feel the need to clarify, to justify, to explain why you did what you did. You think you are protecting your image. You are not. You are teaching everyone in that room that your decisions are up for public review. You are announcing that you care what they think. You are advertising your insecurity. The person who spoke did not need an answer. They required you to flinch. You gave them exactly that. You were not born defensive. You were trained. You were raised in systems that demanded explanation. School, home, work. Every authority figure in your life conditioned you to justify your existence, to prove your worth, to seek approval before you act and defend yourself after. You learned that silence means guilt, that non-response implies weakness. If you do not explain yourself, people will assume the worst. And now you carry that reflex into every interaction. You defend when no one attacks. You explain when no one asks. You seek validation from people who have no authority over you, and you call it communication. It is not communication, it is a submission. Machiavelli understood this 5 centuries ago. He knew that power is not held by those who argue their case the loudest. It is held by those who do not argue at all. The prince does not defend his decisions to the court justifies itself to the prince. Authority is not proven through explanation, it is assumed through silence. The moment you defend, you have accepted a lower position. You have agreed that someone else holds the frame. And once you are inside their frame, you cannot win, you can only perform. This script will show you 7 psychological reversals that most men never see. 7 places where your instinct to defend is actually the mechanism of your control. And by the end, you will understand why powerful men do not explain themselves. Not because they are arrogant, but because they know that silence is the ultimate protection of authority. If you are not ready to hear this, leave now. This is not a conversation about fairness. It is a conversation about power. And power does not care whether you are ready. Put your phone face down and listen. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Now let me show you what you have been doing wrong your entire life. You think defense clears guilt. It does the opposite. It announces that guilt is on the table. The accusation alone does not convict you. Your response does. When someone questions your integrity and you immediately rush to explain, you are not proving innocence. You are validating the question. You are saying, yes, this is worth addressing. Yes, you have the right to ask. Yes, I am concerned about what you think. And everyone watching registers that. They do not remember your explanation. They remember that you felt the need to give one. Here is what actually happens. Someone implies you are unreliable. You defend your track record. You list examples. You provide evidence. You think you are dismantling their argument, but they are not listening to your logic. They are watching your energy. They see you react. They see you care. They see you scramble. And that scramble is the only data point that matters. Because influential people do not scramble. They do not need to. Their authority is not up for debate. And the moment you defend, you have announced that yours is. You have been in a meeting where someone challenges your idea. You respond with a detailed breakdown of your reasoning. You walk them through every step. You anticipate objections. You over-explain. And by the end, even if your logic is flawless, you have lost the room. Not because your idea was weak, but because you looked weak presenting it. Compare that to the person who says, "I have considered that. We're moving forward." No elaboration, no justification, no performance, just certainty. The room does not question them because they did not give the room permission to do so. That is the difference. Defense is permission. It tells the other person, you have power here. You can make me explain myself. You can put me on trial. And once you give that permission, you cannot take it back. Every interaction after that moment will carry the same frame. They will question, you will explain. They will probe, you will justify. You are no longer equals. You are the defendant and judge, and you put yourself there. Now apply this to relationships. Your partner questions where you were. You immediately give a complete account. You list every stop, every person, every reason. You think you are being transparent. You are not. You are being controlled. Because the question was not about information, it was about whether you would comply. It was a test of frame, and you failed it the moment you started explaining. The correct response was not a list. It was a calm certainty. I was handling something. We are fine. No elaboration, no defense, no submission to interrogation. You will feel cruel doing this at first. You will feel like you are withholding, like you are being cold, like you are refusing connection. That feeling is your conditioning. That is the part of you that was trained to seek approval, to prove yourself, to make others comfortable at the cost of your authority. And that part of you has been killing your power your entire life. Machiavelli said the prince must learn to be feared when necessary, not because fear is the goal, but because respect without fear is not respect. It is tolerance. And tolerance disappears the moment it is inconvenient. When you refuse to defend, you are not being difficult. You are refusing a frame. You are saying, I do not accept your authority to evaluate me. And that refusal is what creates absolute respect, not because people like it, but because they recognize it. They recognize that you are not playing the same game they are. You are not seeking their approval. You are not concerned with their judgment. You are simply moving forward. And that certainty is magnetic. It is rare, and it threatens people who rely on others' need for validation. Here is another place this plays out. Someone makes a passive-aggressive comment about your choices. You feel the sting. You want to correct the record. You want to explain why they are wrong. You want to defend your decisions. And that want is the trap. Because the comment was not actually about your choices. It was about whether you would react. It was bait. And if you take it, you have done their work for them. You have shown that their opinion matters. You have shown that you are monitoring their thoughts. You have shown that you are controllable. Powerful men do not take the bait. They do not ignore it because they did not hear it. They ignore it because it is irrelevant. Someone questions their decision. They continue as if nothing was said, not out of arrogance, out of frame control. They understand that responding is participating, and participating is losing. Because the game is not about who is right. The game is about who holds the frame, and the person who needs to respond does not have it. You see this in business all the time. A competitor makes a public jab at your company. The instinct is to respond, to correct the record, to defend your brand. And weak leaders do exactly that. They release statements, they argue on social media, they engage in public back and forth. And every second of that engagement lowers their status because they are reacting. They're being controlled by someone else's move. They have handed the competitor the ability to dictate their actions. Strong leaders do not respond. They continue building. They let the jab sit in the air unanswered. And that silence communicates something far more potent than any defense ever could. It says, "You are not worth my attention." That is what silence does. It does not just withhold information. It withholds validation. It refuses to confirm that the other person's opinion, accusation, or judgment has any weight. And that refusal is unbearable to people who are used to getting reactions. They will push harder. They will escalate. They will try new tactics. And the more they do, the more they reveal their need for your response. And that need is weakness. Your silence exposes it. Now let me show you what happens when you stop defending. You stop explaining your decisions to people who did not earn the right to question them. You stop justifying your time to people who do not control your schedule. You stop proving your worth to people who should already see it. And something shifts. The people who were testing you stop, not because they suddenly respect you, but because they realize the test no longer works. You are not playing, and a game with one player is not a game. Some people will call you cold. Some will call you arrogant. Some will say you have changed. Let them. Those labels are not descriptions. They are in discomfort. They are the sound of people realizing they no longer have the access they once had. They can no longer put you on trial whenever they feel like it. And that loss of control feels like rejection to them. It is not. It is a boundary. And the boundary feels like hostility to people who benefited from you having none. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Most people read that as cruelty. It is not. It is realism. Love without respect is conditional. It lasts as long as you are helpful. Fear, in the Machiavellian sense, is not terror. It is the understanding that you will not be controlled, that you will not bend. That crossing has consequences. That is not cruelty, that is clarity, and clarity protects you far better than likability ever will. Here is what most men do not realize. Every time you defend yourself, you are training people how to control you. You are teaching them that applying pressure works, that questioning you gets results, that makes you uncomfortable so you comply. And once that pattern is set, it does not stop. It escalates. The questions become more frequent. The accusations become more brazen. The need to prove yourself becomes constant. And you end up in a life where you are always performing, always explaining, and always seeking approval from people who will never give it. Because approval is not the goal. Control is. The person questioning you does not want answers. They want compliance. They want to see you react. They want to confirm that they have leverage over you. And every time you defend, you give them that confirmation. You show them that their opinion matters, that their judgment has weight, that you are concerned with how they see you, and that concern is the leash they will use to control you for as long as you allow it. Now contrast that with the man who does not defend. Someone questions his decision. He does not explain. He does not justify. He continues. The question sits in the air, unanswered. The person who asked feels the silence. They think the refusal. And they have a choice. They can escalate, which reveals their need for control. Or they can move on, which confirms that the question was never that important. Either way, the frame stays with the man who did not respond. He did not hand over authority. He did not step into their court. He remained exactly where he was, unbothered, unmoved, in control. That is what silence does. It protects your frame. It forces the other person to either respect your boundary or reveal their intent. And most of the time, they will back off, not because they suddenly like you, but because they realize you are not going to play the game. You are not going to give them the reaction they were fishing for. You are not going to submit to their frame. And without your participation, their tactic has no power. Here is where this gets uncomfortable. Silence will cost you relationships. It will cost you people who were only in your life because you were easy to control. It will cost you friendships built on your agreeableness, your availability, and your willingness to explain yourself. And when those people leave, you will feel the loss. You will question whether you are doing the right thing. You will wonder if you are becoming too cold, too distant, too detached. That doubt is normal. It is also irrelevant, because the relationships you lose were never built on respect. They were built on your compliance, and compliance is not a connection. It is convenient. The people who leave when you stop defending were never with you. They were with the version of you that made them comfortable, the version that sought their approval, the version that could be managed. And that version was killing you, slowly, quietly, consistently. You were tolerated, not valued. You were kept around, not respected. And the moment you stop performing, that becomes obvious. Many people do not surround powerful men. The right people surround them. People who respect boundaries. People who do not need constant explanation. People who understand that silence is not hostility, it is clear. And those people are rare, because most people are addicted to reaction. They are addicted to the validation that comes from making others explain themselves. And when you stop giving that validation, they disappear. Let them. What remains is leverage. What remains is respect. What remains is a life where you are not constantly on trial, where your decisions are not up for public review, where your time, your energy, and our attention are yours to allocate, not theirs to demand. That is not isolation, that is authority. Authority is the only thing that protects you in a world where everyone is trying to manage you. Now let me tell you what happens when you defend in public. You are in a group. Someone makes a comment that implies you are wrong about something. You immediately correct them. You explain your position. You provide context. You make your case, and everyone watches. They do not hear your logic. They hear your need to be right. They do not see your intelligence. They see your insecurity. Because secure people do not need to correct every misunderstanding. They do not need to win every micro-debate. They let the comment pass. They allow the room believe whatever it wants, because they know their reputation is not built on one conversation but on consistent action over time. Defending in public does not protect your reputation. It damages it, because it shows that you are monitoring what people think. It shows that you are concerned with perception. It shows that you need validation, and need is weakness. The man who does not defend in public is not ignoring disrespect. He is refusing to participate in a frame that does not serve him. He is choosing his battles, and most battles are not worth fighting. Most comments are not worth addressing. Most judgments are not worth correcting, because the people making them do not matter. That is the filter. Does this person's opinion change anything material in my life? If the answer is no, their opinion is irrelevant. And irrelevant things do not get your energy. They do not get your time. They do not get your defense. They get nothing. And that nothing is the most powerful response you can give, because it says, you do not exist in my frame. Here is the final reversal. You think silence makes you look guilty. It does not. It makes you look untouchable. You think refusing to explain makes you look cold. It does not. It makes you look certain. You think ignoring accusations makes you look weak. It does not. It makes you look powerful. Because power does not defend. Power does not explain. Power is might. And the moment you understand that, everything changes. You stop living in reaction. You stop shaping your behavior around other people's judgments. You stop seeking permission from people who have no authority over you. You start moving through the world with the quiet certainty that you do not owe anyone an explanation. Not because you are hiding, but because you are not on trial. You never were. You just accepted the role of defendant because you are trained to do so. Machiavelli knew this. The prince does not explain his strategy to the court. He executes it. And the court either follows or falls away. That is not cruelty. That is leadership. That is a frame. That is what separates the powerful from the controlled. The powerful do not defend, they decide, and everyone else adjusts. So here is your challenge. The next time someone questions you in a way that feels like a test, do not defend, do not explain, do not justify, just acknowledge and move forward. Noted, understood, we are fine. No elaboration, no performance, no submission. And watch what happens. Watch how the frame shifts. Watch how the person who questioned you either backs off or reveals their intent. Watch how the room responds to your certainty. You will feel the power of silence immediately. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel cold. It will feel wrong. That feeling is your conditioning breaking. Let it break. If you found value in this, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more frameworks like this. And if this hit you, write, "I am the strategist" once in the comments just to mark the day your mindset changed. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be respected. And respect does not come from explanation. It comes from refusal. Refusal to defend. Refusal to seek approval. Refusal to participate in frames that do not serve you. That refusal is your authority. Protect it. You are the strategist now. Act like it.